If you're coming to Spain, whether it's to fry on the beach, freeze in the winter, or simply hop from bar to bar, you are going to want to know what Spaniards actually drink. Some of the drinks we're going to present on this video were born here, some exist elsewhere, but are prepared in ways that might make you raise an eyebrow. And a few, well, let's just say you won't find them anywhere else without a very confused look from the bartender. Hola, ¿qué tal? Welcome to the channel where we want you to be happier traveling through Spain and Portugal with the help of our self-guided walking tours. And since drinks are basically a national pastime here, whether you are at the beach, at a fiesta, or just pretending to work from a cafe, we've put together a list of 20 Spanish drinks for your palate. Some of them are heavenly, some are unacquired taste. Looking at you, bitter Cas. And one makes tourists believe sangria is Spain's national drink. Either way, by the end of this video, you'll be armed with all the knowledge to drink like a local, or at least look like you know what you're doing. And just so you know, we've had to leave out quite a few drinks we personally love, but that are mostly confined to specific corners of Spain. So yes, apologies in advance to the fans of Agua de Valencia, Pacharan, and a handful of other regional gems. We promise they are delicious, but this video is about drinks you are most likely to bump into wherever you go. Let's kick things off with a drink you will not find anywhere else. If you want to try something uniquely Spanish without alcohol, look out for a bitter Cas. This classic soft drink is easy to spot thanks to its bright red color, and it's often enjoyed as a refreshing aperitif before a meal. What makes it special is its recipe. A blend of more than 20 herbs and spices, including cinnamon, nutmeg, and even sandalwood. The result is a sparkling drink with a bold, bitter edge, softened by just a touch of sweetness. It's often compared to Campari or red vermouth, only without the alcohol. Definitely an acquired taste, but one you will find in bars all over Spain. If you've got a sweet tooth, you'll want to try Cacaolat, Spain's most famous chocolate milkshake. It's been around since 1930 and it's still going strong today. Cacaolat is smooth, creamy, and packed with rich chocolate flavor. Most people drink it cold as a refreshing treat, but in winter you can also order it warm, which makes it extra comforting. Like any sweet chocolate drink, it's on the indulgent side thanks to the sugar, so think of it as a treat rather than a healthy drink. And if you don't spot the brand name, just look for the generic term batido de chocolate. Next up is a true party classic. You won't easily find calimocho on supermarket shelves. It's more of a social, improvised drink, especially loved by young people. Born in the Basque country, it quickly spread across Spain and it's still a go-to at festivals and student gatherings. The recipe couldn't be simpler. Red wine and coke poured over ice in a big plastic cup. It's a low-cost party drink, and I can assure you I had my fair share of calimochos back in my college days. Thank God those calimocho days are over. Café, coffee, is universal, but in Spain there are a few classic variations you should definitely know before ordering. Café solo is a small, strong espresso shot. Café cortado is a café solo, a espresso, cut with just a splash of milk, similar to a macchiato. Café con leche is Spain's everyday favorite. There are no strict rules. The ratio can be 1 part coffee to 2 parts milk, or even 50-50. Think of it as the local version of a latte. Café con hielo, coffee with ice, is Spain's clever way of beating the summer heat. Don't be surprised if it comes in 2 separate glasses, one with hot coffee, the other filled with ice. Add sugar to the hot coffee first, stir, then pour it over the ice cubes. The result? A simple but brilliant iced coffee. And just when you thought we were done with coffee, along comes its rebellious cousin, the carajillo. Take a shot of espresso, add a generous splash of liquor, brandy, rum, whiskey, Baileys, even anise, and you've got Spain's answer to the eternal question, coffee or cocktail. It's the no-nonsense, wake me up and warm me up drink. When you order it, make sure to tell the waiter what you would like in yours. It's not your everyday morning brew, unless you've had a really rough night, but as a post-lunch ritual or a winter warmer, the carajillo has earned its place among Spain's most beloved drinks. Just don't be surprised if after a couple of these you can no longer tell whether you came in for coffee or for cocktails. And while we are talking about our favorite drink, it's the perfect time to grab a quick coffee. Thanks to some amazing friends at the channel who have treated us through Buy Me a Coffee. Honestly, it keeps the camera steady and the energy high. If you'd like to say thanks as well, or just make sure we stay caffeinated until the end of the video, you will find a link in the first comment below this video. Spaniards don't drink champagne, they drink cava. And honestly, there is not much difference between the two. The method of making cava is exactly the same as champagne. The only changes are the grapes and the place where it's produced. 95% of cava comes from Catalonia, though you will also find smaller producers in regions like Extremadura, La Rioja, Aragon, and Valencia. The main grape varieties used are Macabeo, Xarel·lo, and Parellada, though there are a few others allowed as well. Traditionally, cava was reserved for Christmas, New Year's Eve, weddings, or celebrations, but nowadays it's enjoyed at brunch, as an aperitif, or simply with a good meal. Locals sip it from tulip-shaped glasses, appreciating its crisp, refreshing bubbles, often paired with tapas, seafood, or even dessert. Beer, or cerveza as we call it in Spain, is universal, but there are a few local twists you should know. If you want a beer mixed with lemonade or another soft drink, the term has changed over the years. You might still see shandy in supermarkets, but nowadays most brands use the German term Radler. At the bar, though, you will not order a Radler or a shandy, you will use the local word clara. There are regional variations of the term, but clara is understood throughout Spain. A clara can mean one of two things. Clara con limón, beer with a lemon soft drink, basically a Radler, a shandy, or clara con gaseosa, beer with gaseosa, a lightly carbonated sweet soda we'll cover later. If you just order a clara, the bartender might give you either one, so if you have a preference, be sure to ask for a clara con limón or clara con gaseosa. Beers in Spain come in different shapes and sizes, and the measurements can change from region to region and from bar to bar. If you don't want a huge pour, ask for una caña por favor, a small, perfectly manageable glass of beer. On the screen you will see other common measurements. In Spain, ColaCao isn't just a drink, it's a cultural institution. For decades, it's been the go-to chocolate powder, stirred into milk or water and enjoyed hot or cold. Most Spaniards grew up with it, and it's still a staple in many households today, especially for kids at breakfast or as an afternoon snack. The flavor is rich and chocolatey, and for many it tastes like childhood in a glass. But here's the catch. About a mind-blowing 70% of ColaCao is sugar. That makes it more of a sweet indulgence than a healthy choice, and there's ongoing debate about how wise it is to give it daily to children. Its closest rival is Nestlé's Nesquik, which plays the same role in many Spanish kitchens, though ColaCao usually wins the nostalgia vote. Gaseosa is a Spanish soft drink, lightly carbonated, usually sweetened and flavored. Think of it as the Spanish equivalent of soda water or a fizzy soft drink. What's interesting is that people rarely drink gaseosa on its own. Instead, it's almost always used in mixes. It goes into a clara, the beer with soda, and you'll also find it in sangria and tinto de verano, which we will get to later. The most famous brand is La Casera, so much so that in many places people would just say una casera when they really mean gaseosa. This one might sound controversial, but we had to include the gin and tonic, or gin tonic as we call it in Spain, because it's a very different experience here than anywhere else. In fact, we still laugh when we remember our faces of disbelief the first time we ordered gin and tonics in places like France or Germany. In most countries, it's just a highball. Gin, tonic from a soda gun, a wedge of lime, and ice in a plain glass. But in Spain, a gin tonic is treated as a sensory experience. It comes in a large balloon glass we call copa de balón, with big crystal clear ice cubes that keep the drink cold without watering it down. Bars here don't rely on ice machines, most get daily deliveries from local ice producers. Bartenders used bottled tonic water, never from a gun, and often match the gin and tonic carefully. Even the most modest bar in Spain will usually offer a wide selection of gins, from Spanish labels to big international names. The final flourish is the garnish. Fresh citrus peel, herbs like rosemary or thyme, spices such as cardamom or peppercorns chosen to highlight the botanicals and make the drink visually striking. And don't think this is only for fancy cocktail bars. You'll find gin tonics all over Spain. Measures aren't common here, so the pours can be strong, especially if you ask for a bit more gin, which we do not recommend. One gin tonic after a meal is often plenty. We spent endless hours on terraces chatting with friends over these drinks, and trust me, just one is more than enough. Now for a classic summer drink, and we get plenty of hot summer days in Spain. Granizado is a refreshing ice drink made by blending crushed or shaved ice with sweetened fruit juice or flavored syrup. It is similar to what English speakers might call a slushy or a slush, but often with a more natural flavor profile and a snowy granulated ice texture. It's usually served with a straw, and the trick is to stir it occasionally so the melting ice mixes evenly with the syrup or juice. If you order a granizado at a bar or cafe, it will most likely come from a machine with a smooth, uniform texture and a strong sweet flavor. At an ice cream parlor and heladeria, however, you will often get a more artisan version. Coarser ice crystals, fresher flavors, and an overall result that feels more natural and a little less sugary. Lemon is the timeless favorite, but you will also find other fruit options and even coffee, which is also a local favorite. And since granizados are often sold in the same places as horchata, don't be surprised if you spot both drinks side by side. Horchata de chufa, often just horchata, is one of Spain's most beloved summer drinks. It looks creamy and milky, but there is no dairy in the traditional recipe. Instead, it's made with chufas, tiger nuts, which are actually small tubers. They are soaked, ground and blended with water and sugar to create a light, slightly nutty drink that is served cold. Horchata is especially linked to Valencia, where the drink became popular, and along the Mediterranean coast, you will find a strong horchata culture. The classic pairing is a tall glass of horchata with soft pastries called fartons, perfect for dunking. Across Spain, you will come across horchata in two main venues: dedicated horchaterias, which specialize in it, and heladerías, ice cream parlors, where it's often sold alongside ice creams and granizados. Traditionally, horchata is a seasonal treat served from spring through the end of summer. You can find bottled versions in supermarkets year-round, but the difference between fresh horchata and the bottle kind is like the difference between fresh orange juice and the stuff from a carton, worlds apart. If you want a soft drink with a local twist, order a cas. Think of it as Spain's answer to Fanta, a fruit-flavored carbonated soft drink that's been around for decades. The key difference: Cas actually contains around 8% fruit juice, so it tastes a bit more natural than its international rival. The classic flavors are orange and lemon, and they are both hugely popular. Cas was born in Spain in the mid-20th century, and for many Spaniards it carries a nostalgic vibe tied to family meals, summer holidays, and long afternoons on terraces. These days, it's produced by PepsiCo, which also makes bitter cas, the non-alcoholic aperitif we mentioned earlier in the video. Let's talk about leche merengada. This is a classic Spanish drink made by infusing milk with lemon zest and cinnamon, sweetening it with sugar, and then blending it with whipped egg whites to give it a light, frothy texture. The result is usually chilled or even partially frozen, so you get this refreshing, slightly icy drink that feels perfect on a hot day. The flavor is sweet, aromatic, and comforting. Milky with hints of citrus and cinnamon, sometimes with a touch of vanilla. The whipped egg whites make it airy, almost like drinking a snow-flavored milkshake, without any ice cream or heavy cream. You will typically find leche merengada in cafes, ice cream parlors, or in traditional horchaterias, the same places where horchata is sold. For many Spaniards, leche merengada is pure nostalgia. These days, it's less common as a drink, but when you do spot it, it's worth trying for that old-school Spanish flavor. Licores de hierbas, literally herbal liqueurs, is a generic term to describe traditional Spanish drink made by macerating or infusing a mix of herbs, roots, flowers, fruits, and spices in a base alcohol, usually aguardiente, a spirit distilled from wine. They are typically sweetened with sugar, honey, or grape must, and the alcohol content can range from about 15% to much stronger versions. The exact blend of herbs changes a lot from one region to another, which means every bottle can taste slightly different. In Spain, licores de hierbas are usually enjoyed as a digestive after a meal, served chilled in small glasses, sometimes over ice but often just neat. And don't be surprised if at the end of a meal in a traditional restaurant, the owner casually brings a bottle or a few little glasses to your table on the house. It's a very Spanish way of closing a meal with a friendly gesture. Now let's talk about something that's not too well known outside Spain, but you will see everywhere here: mosto. Think of it as Spain's take on fresh grape juice, made the traditional way. It is simply unfermented grape juice, the same liquid that would turn into wine if left to ferment, just stopped before any alcohol develops. In Spain, people drink mosto all year round. You can order it at a bar, just like you would a fruit juice or a soft drink, and it's especially popular with kids, the perfect way to join in when the adults are having wine. We actually have an entire video here on the channel dedicated to sangria, where I share what I think is the most accurate definition of the drink. It's the way Spanish wine producers get rid of their absolute plonk, selling it at vintage wine prices to unsuspecting tourists. In a nutshell, Spaniards hardly ever drink sangria. I know, shocking, right? It's the classic drink ordered by tourists and always at inflated prices. For us, sangria is more of a tourist marketing invention than an everyday beverage. That said, I won't stop you from trying it if you are curious. It does look pretty with all that fruit floating around, like a fruit salad that accidentally drowned in cheap red wine. Just don't expect locals to be sipping it at the next table. If you want to drink like a Spaniard, hold your horses. We'll get to sangria's nice cousin in just a moment. Spoiler, that's what we actually drink. In Spain, you'll find cider, sidra, in bars, supermarkets, and celebrations, much like you would do back home. But here, the word sidra actually refers to two quite different drinks depending on when you are. Up north, especially in Asturias and the Basque Country, sidra means the traditional natural cider, fermented apple juice that is still not fizzy and slightly acidic. It's more than just a drink, it's a cultural ritual. The way it's poured is called escanciado. The bottle held high above the head, the glass low near the knee, and the cider splashing down through the air. This isn't just for show, it adds air to the cider, brings out the flavor, and gives it a touch of natural sparkle. It's always poured in small amounts and drunk right away. If you ever try pouring it yourself for the first time, beware. As you will see now on the screen, it's very easy to baptize your clothes and anyone standing nearby. The first pour usually tastes a bit like laundry day. Everywhere in Spain though, when you hear sidra, chances are they are talking about something completely different. Sparkling cider. This version is fizzy, sweet and usually associated with celebrations, weddings, New Year's Eve or family parties. Think of it as the festive cousin of the northern cider. Lighter, more casual and sold in bottles that often look like champagne. The most famous brand you will spot everywhere is Sidra El Gaitero, which has practically become the national sparkling cider. So whether you are clinking glasses on New Year's Eve or joining a cider pouring ritual in the north, Sidra in Spain is always about much more than just apples. It's about tradition, celebration, and sharing the moment. Tinto de verano, literally summer red wine, is the real local alternative to sangria. Remember how we said Spaniards don't really drink sangria? This is what we drink instead. Think of it as a sangria stripped down to the essentials. Red wine, gaseosa, soda, ice, and sometimes a slice of lemon or orange. Simple, refreshing, and perfect for hot days, or really any day when you don't want to feel like you're drinking fruit salad. Traditionally, it's made on the spot, a splash of wine, a top-up of soda, and big crystal clear ice cubes. But times have changed. Since the early 2000s, drinks manufacturers realized there was money to be made, and now you will find Tinto de Verano bottled and canned everywhere. Still, if you ever find a bar where they mix it fresh at the counter, write down the address, keep it like a treasure, and never let it go. Because honestly, Tinto de Verano is Spain's very own Nobel Prize in refreshment. An invention so simple yet so perfect. It makes you wonder why the rest of the world hasn't caught on. And we wrap our list with an international classic that Spain has made very much its own. Vermut. Here's the thing, in Spain, vermut isn't just a drink, it's practically a lifestyle. We even talk about la hora del vermouth hour, which sounds very precise and sophisticated, but in practice just means it's almost lunchtime, let's go out for a drink. Ironically, many Spaniards don't even drink vermouth at vermouth hour, but the name stuck. When you do order it, expect it sweet, red, rojo, poured neat or over ice, usually with a slice of orange or lemon, and sometimes with an olive on a toothpick swimming around like it owns the place. And no vermut is ever served alone, it comes with olives or potato chips, because in Spain, even a drink needs a snack buddy. Many bars have vermut de grifo, vermouth on tap, which sounds slightly suspicious until you try it and then you wonder why the rest of the world isn't doing the same. There's a nationwide vermut culture, but Catalonia is particularly devoted with lots of respected producers based there. So there you have it. Vermouth in Spain, legs, tuxedo and martini glass, more bars too, potato chips and a lot of chatting. And honestly, that's probably the better deal. Just like we promised at the start, now you're ready to sip, steer and toast your way across Spain like a local, or at least look like you know what you're doing. 20 Spanish drinks, some familiar, some unacquired taste. Spain has something for everyone. If you want more culinary adventures, we've got a whole playlist of food and drink videos waiting for you on screen now. Don't be shy, dive in. Salud! Cheers!